Hello, chat. Hello. It's been a really long time. Checks watch. Oh, you can see I'm not wearing a watch. That bit doesn't work. I went missing for a year. Well, I went missing here for a year. Over at YouTube, I was not missing. A lot of stuff has happened over there. And I don't know why, but it would seem that the stream is not going to YouTube. That's a problem for me of not Christmas today, not quite Christmas tomorrow, but like maybe the day after that. Because today we're talking about movies. I watched a lot of movies last year. I just did the tally right now. 228 to be specific. We're going to talk about them as soon as I figure out why this rectangle is green and not the letterboxed gray. Scratch his head with finger. I used to know this one. What if I do this? Why are you over there? You know what? Scratch his head with finger. I'm really good at doing that. Let's, let me try to center you. Hang on, wait, what? Hang on, wait, hang on. Wait, hang on. Okay. Now that I can actually see what I'm doing, what? Okay. And I sure do wish I could just, the thing would just work. Scratch his head with, no, I'm not even scratching my head with my finger. What am I talking about? That looks pretty good to me. Okay. Okay, movies. I watched a lot of movies last year, as I'm sure you have heard before. And this is definitely not the first time I've ever said it in my life. I watched a lot of movies last year. Checks the clock. I have like 2.5 hours to get through as many of these as I can. And whatever I don't finish today, I will do next Tuesday. I would say next Thursday, but that's Deltarune Day. That's the day that I play Deltarune and do nothing else with my life. Okay. But January 1st, 500 days of summer, not seconds, days of summer. Yeah, I kind of cooked here. That's pretty much all my thoughts right there. Fuck off, Tom. Aragon. What the fuck was this movie even? Oh, this is the movie with the dragon. What's something I could say about the movie that has a dragon in it? You know, it didn't look half bad for 2006. The CGI for the dragon did not look half bad. Oh, it's this one. I know what I wrote for this. Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul. Do you think if we showed this movie to Elon, do you think he'd be able to understand what the movie was trying to tell him? Or do you think he'd start complaining about perception and then laugh like an absolute cretin again, like he did on Fortnite Friday? My headcanon is the latter. Parasite 2019. Holy shit. That one shot where you can just see the ghost peeking up from the basement. Spoilers for Parasite, by the way. I don't know if you could tell by the "this review may contain spoilers" tag that's on the screen right now. But I'm going to talk about spoilers for Parasite. That one shot sent shivers up my spine, dude. Sent shivers. Everyone's hero. Yeah, my review here is pretty apt. All this movie taught me is to keep mashing poor high committal options in neutral, like Ganon F smash. I think everyone should learn that. Tag. You know, I think it's a beautiful thing that this collection of five grown ass men kept up a game of tag into what, like their 30s, their 40s? I think we should start doing this too. Maybe not with tag, right? Maybe not playing a game of tag, but like something that brings us all together and we're really passionate about and we're really good at. We should keep it going for a really long time. Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. You know, I've always wanted to watch a movie about toys and about people who use toys to bring joy to the world. I'm glad we got that with Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. Alien. Holy shit. That thing that John Hurt had to go through, you know, the thing sort of like coming right out of his chest. Someone get him on the phone. I need to know if he's okay. That looked really painful. Marcel the Shell with shoes on. Oh my god. Oh my god. I would burn this entire world to the crisp. To a crisp. Just to put a smile on that shell's face. I love him so much, and you better as well. If you don't love Marcel the Shell with his shoes on, you're not welcome in my house. You're not welcome in my chat. Do not look at me. Do not talk to me. Do not think about me. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. My boat now. No, not your boat, my boat. This boat, it belongs to me. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Now, okay. Objectively, this movie is amazing. I love the art style. I love that more studios and more projects are pushing for this more stylized, less like... Is homogenized the right word? I want a dictionary. A real fucking dictionary. No! Okay. Yeah, homogenize is the right word. Like this homogenized style of animation that Disney tried to make the norm, well, did for a while with films like Frozen and Tangled. I'm glad that a lot of other studios are breaking free from that mold. But unfortunately, Raphael called Drake the GOAT, so he has to die horribly now. With hammers, preferably. Okay, Inglourious Bastards. Okay. I cannot. Every single shot that BJ Novak is in, I cannot take seriously just because he looks like that. Because he looks like what's his face? Ryan Howard. Like, that's not BJ Novak's character in the movie to me. That is Ryan Howard. That Ryan Howard did all that. I headcanon this as an AU where Ryan Howard was born 60 years earlier and Dunder Mifflin was never invented. And instead, he just did all that. Okay, Speed Racer. Holy shit, this movie is so tough. This movie is genuinely tough. I mean that wholeheartedly. This movie's so tough. But if I have to look and listen to that shit-eating kid and his pet chimpanzee one more goddamn time, I'm gonna do something drastic. I also really wish I had taken the time to go and see that movie when it re-released in IMAX earlier this year. That's just another on a long list of movies I should have seen in the theater and just never did. I saw the TV Glow. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. The Ron Clark story. You know, it's a similar thing like Inglourious Bastards for me, right? When I look at, this is Matthew Perry, right? No. Is it? Is that this actor's name? Yeah, Matthew Perry. Whenever I look at Matthew Perry, I cannot see or hear anyone except for Chandler Bing. So to me, this wasn't Ron Clark's story. This was Chandler Bing's story. and he just happened to follow the same steps that Ron Clark did. Really good movie though. I really enjoyed this one. The Terminator. Hey, music, can you stop being so goddamn loud for a few minutes, please? Thank you. The Terminator. Okay, that shot. Wait, was that in this movie? Or was that Terminator 2? I'm thinking of Terminator 2. Okay, this is just Sonic CD. We have Sonic CD at home. I'm sorry, the Terminator, it's Sonic CD, the US version with all the creepy music. That is what the Terminator is to me. Grand Budapest Hotel. What a goofy ass movie. There's a couple characters running around the world. Well, maybe not the entire world, but God, the adventures that these two characters go on just for the sake of this hotel. I gotta give it up. Wes Anderson, I gotta give it up. Asteroid City. Wes Anderson got a little weird with it here. Especially with the alien. But low-key, I kinda dig it. Memento. It's just subtle foreshadowing. It's subtle foreshadowing and non-sequential storytelling, non-linear storytelling. Every time you watch the, and I know everyone who watches this movie says this, but it's true. Every time you watch this movie, you will notice something new. I really value that in media. The Goonies. Oh my fucking God. The fucking oh, this movie pisses me off. It's good, but it pisses me off so much because it does this one thing that so many pieces of media love to do with fat characters, especially when there's one fat character in an ensemble with a bunch of like normal characters, where they love to just hammer home to the audience. This character's fat. This character loves food. That's all they're going to talk about. Eating, loving food, and being gross. I get it! The kid is fat and it's supposed to be funny! I don't fucking care! I'm sorry, that was... that might have been a bit louder than I intended, but I... Fuck you, The Goonies. Okay, Napoleon Dynamite. Dude. I'm gonna warn you right now. This movie's low-key awesome. And nothing anyone says to you before watching the movie will prepare you for not that level of awesome, maybe, but like this form of awesome, if that makes sense. Monkey Man. Dude, that bracket path was fucked up. Like, he should not have been able to win that bracket. Spoilers for Monkey Man, by the way. He should not have been able to win that bracket, but this Monkey Man fellow might be the greatest to ever do it. John Wick wakes up every morning in a sweat knowing that Monkey Man is alive. Barbie? I mean, the queen stays on top. What more is there to say? There was a brief okay, I watched both these movies in the same night. It says 26 and 25, but it was the same night. I just stayed up really late that night. For a minute, I thought Monkey Man dethroned the Barbie movie as my number one. But on rewatch, like, the queen stays on top. Okay, the original Star Wars, A New Hope. For a long time, I didn't get why this movie was so highly regarded as it was. Because for a while, my only frame of reference for watching this movie was watching it as a kid. Before my brain was developed enough to really understand what was going on in movies. But on rewatch, I get it. I think I get it now. The PowerPoint transitions, though, they... low-key, it adds a bit of charm to the movie. Trailer Park Boys, Countdown to Liquor Day. It's Trailer Park Boys. It's it's exactly what you expect to happen with a Trailer Park Boys movie. Kung Pao, Enter the Fist. This might be the funniest dub I've ever seen of a movie ever. Just the delivery of "That's a lot of nuts." That's the entire movie in like a single digestible pill. Incredibles 2, like, if this was the story they wanted to tell with a sequel to The Incredibles, they waited way too long to make it. By like a factor of 10 years. This movie should have come out 10 years before it did, at least. Because they're phenomenal performers. They're really good at what they do. But I'm going to be so honest. Craig T. Nelson and Holly Hunter cannot pass. Their voices cannot pass for the ages their characters are in this movie. When they make Incredibles 3, they need to have a time skip. I don't think Incredibles 3 works with the cast that they have unless there's a time skip. Empire Strikes Back. It's good, bro. It's cheesy. Let me be clear. When I say like Star Wars movies are good, they're all cheesy. But you know, sometimes a bit of cheese is delicious. Okay. Page 4. Blazing Saddles. There's a certain point in this movie that you hit and you're just in a perpetual state of thinking, what the fuck just happened, until the credits roll. If you watch the movie, you'll figure out where that point is. Trust me, you'll figure it out. But this is a Wes Anderson movie, right? No, this is a Mel Brooks movie. Mel Brooks, he kind of gets crazy with it in this movie. Airplane. Surely you didn't laugh at a movie as old as Airplane. Yeah, I did. And don't fucking call me Shirley. Not what I'm called. Airplane 2, it doesn't quite grab your attention as much as the first one does. I mean, it's fine, I guess. It's no Airplane 1. Or just Airplane. Okay, One Piece. This One Piece movie, The Secret Island, The Baron and His Secret Island. I was shocked at how Undertale coded the climax of this movie was and how creepy it is. And you're not going to be ready either. Oh, I'll count these, I guess. Not really a movie, but I'll count it. Okay. The script is really good, right? The concepts in this special are really good. This is Doctor Who: A Christmas Carol, by the way, in case you didn't know. But I feel like Stephen Moffat cannot help himself but worm in some kind of creepy character dynamic in here. Like, the characterization and character dynamics with the female lead and the Scrooge stand-in, it's kind of creepy. And I think it tarnishes what is otherwise a really good and really interesting script. So, Stephen Moffat, please can you quit ruining your scripts with cool and well-executed time travel bullshit with weirdly written characterization and character dynamics for 5 minutes? 5 minutes, please. Jaclem Dog, thank you for the 1 month sub. Thank you for the 1 month. It's been a while. We're talking about Letterboxd and movies today. Challengers. Now, how can I make this movie about Smash Brothers? Oh, I know. Never let MK Leo take you to Game 5. Worst mistake of my life. Okay, Cabin in the Woods. So here's my thing about this movie. I reviewed this movie twice. I don't know if the previous screen showed it, but I reviewed this movie twice. First sitting, I watched the movie for 40 minutes. Didn't grab me. Nothing worth a damn to me happened, and I stopped watching the movie. And then I went to Simpsons movie as a palate cleanser. It's it's The Simpsons. If you like The Simpsons, you'll like The Simpsons movie, I guess. But then after that, my palate felt cleansed, so I went to give Cabin in the Woods another shot. Maybe I judged it too harshly the first time. Probably never gonna watch it again, but you know what? It was all right. I had a good time with it, kinda. Okay, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. It's a rom-com. It's a rom-com. If you watch a lot of rom-coms, you know how the formula works. You're probably not going to be too surprised with what happens here. Except for one conversation that happens in the movie where the male lead, that's Matthew McConaughey, right? Adjusts my glasses. Yeah, that's Matthew McConaughey. Where he talks about like giving his dick like a pet name, like a nickname. And it's like it's exactly what you'd expect. A male lead in a rom-com to want to name it. Like, why couldn't you name it something like cool or original, like dirt or grapefruit juice? Get some fucking imagination, dude. Come on. Get your head in the game. Everything Everywhere All at Once. This was not my first viewing of this movie. I've reviewed it twice? I have. Okay. So I rewatched it. Still just as good as the first time I saw it. Just be kind. This movie just wants us all to be kind. And I promise you all, it's not that hard. Animal Soccer World. How the fuck did this get on Letterboxd? This is a collection of fucking... It's a How do I even describe that? Okay, I'm gonna be so honest. I was barely paying attention to this when I was watching it. I was making a mashup or some shit. This is just a half hour of cutscenes from, I think, a PS2 game. A PS1 or a PS2 game. And, you know, you look at the cover art, take a good look at it. You already know how the animation's gonna look. You already know. Trust me, you already know. Sing. I think people hate on this movie a little too much. I mean, like, yeah, it's exactly what you'd expect from an Illumination original IP, but it's a fun movie. It's fine. Like, you wanna listen to covers of music? This movie is gonna be right up your alley. But this local, I top 8 it easy. I top 8 it easy. It's not even close. That mouse, I'm gonna embarrass that guy. Flushed Away. Yeah, Rita's kind of cool, I guess. Yeah, fun movie. Oh, the frogs. The frogs, dude. The fucking frogs. I love the frogs in this movie. They're so fun. The Founder. This is another rewatch. Excuse me. The way I found out about this movie is a way that I have discovered a lot more movies than I care to admit in like the last 5 years. I saw a clip of the scene where Ray Kroc goes to the McDonald's in San Bernardino for the first time and is just fucking flabbergasted that he orders his food and it's here and ready for him to eat within like 30 seconds. I got that clip on my TikTok For You page, and I couldn't get it out of my head. Like, something about that scene, like, I had to see more. So I watched the movie and then I watched it again. And now, now I would really like a cheeseburger. I don't know what it is about this movie, but it really makes me want a cheeseburger. The Mitchells versus the Machines. This is another rewatch. There's so much heart in this movie. So much heart. Love to see more 3D, like non-homogenized art style, like with TMNT. Love to see it. It's very clear that there was a lot. People poured themselves into this movie. I like that you can tell that people pour themselves into a movie just by watching it. This is one of those movies. Weird, the Al Yankovic story. I'm gonna be so for real. I need to rewatch this movie. My ass was not paying attention the first time around. Who's Weird Al? Who is that? Does anyone know? Dogman. You know, a part of me is disappointed that they did this instead of a second Captain Underpants movie, but it's still really good. Little Petey is just a delight. Possession. I'm going to be so for real. I don't remember a thing about this movie other than the fact that I was weirded out like the entire time. Why did I write "This is how Palpatine returned"? Hoodwinked. This was one of the movies that I had on DVD as a kid, like one of the first movies I had on DVD as a kid. And our family had this, I want to say 12-inch CRT TV that had a built-in DVD player in it. I watched the fuck out of this movie. I loved this movie. Hercules. Yeah, well, that little blue guy, that little blue demon character that was like always groveling at like Hades' feet. What was his fucking problem? Why was he like that the entire movie? Plankton the movie. Okay, oh, God. Modern SpongeBob. Like, it's clear that they're trying. It's clear that they're trying, at least from the animation side, but just the scripts just aren't there. Like, the most interesting thing that happens in this movie is SpongeBob kind of crashing out at Plankton, but it's a modern SpongeBob crash out. There's not that much. There's not as much emotion in it as there could be. like I'm not asking for something quite at the level as like a Mike Ehrmantraut crash out. Like, we had a good thing, you stupid son of a bitch. We had Karen. We had a bucket. We had everything we needed and it all ran like clockwork. You could have shut your mouth, kept making shitty plans and zero chum sales. It was perfect. But no, you just had to blow it up. You and your pride and your ego. You just had to be the protozoa. If you'd done your job, known your place, we'd all be fine right now. Like, maybe not something quite at that level, but, you know, SpongeBob can get angry. He's allowed to be angry and upset sometimes, and he's allowed to show that. Did we forget? Did we forget that SpongeBob can get pissed off sometimes? The bad guys. It's fun. It's fun. The character designs are fun. The character performances are fun. It's a fun movie, and the art style is really nice. We need more movies going in this direction. We need more movies that are just fun and pretty to look at. Not every movie needs to be a masterpiece. Return of the Jedi, It's not as bad as everyone says, but I'd say it's definitely the weakest out of not the prequel, the original trilogy. Spaceballs. I knew it. This movie is full of assholes. Monty Python and the Holy Grail, one of many rewatches. I would love nothing more than to make a movie where like me and a bunch of people do what the Monty Python gang did here, where they just play pretend the whole time. Like, I won't be surprised if a good amount of this movie was just improvisation. They just picked out a place and costumes and they said action without any script, and they just happened to make this. I want to do something like that someday. The Bob's Burgers movie. I mean, this is the part where I'd say, you can't just feed a guy a feature-length musical, Bob, but I guess you can. I guess you can just feed a guy a feature-length musical. Why did I review it twice? Sausage Party. This movie pissed me off. Like, this movie pisses me off. I want my fucking money back. Okay, Mitchells versus the Machines. Yeah, either Linda Mitchell is a god or could kill God, and I do not care if there is a difference. Ooh, yikes. This connection's not looking good. I'm dropping frames like nuts. Okay. Hi, Steve. Hi, Job. Hi, Job X Rank. It appears as if I'm dropping a lot of frames. If this is true, if you can hear me right now, if you can see and hear and listen and scratch your head with your finger right now, here's what's happened. Here's what's going to happen. I am simultaneously recording while I'm streaming this. After the stream, I'm going to polish it up a little bit, and I'm going to upload the VOD to YouTube, kind of in a similar fashion to how it would be stored anyway if the streaming function, the multi-streaming function to YouTube was working, but it doesn't seem like it is. So worry not. Worry not if you miss things due to dropped frames. There will be another way for you to watch this. Knuckles. Oh boy, a self-insert fanfiction bankrolled by a sickly Hollywood studio. Yum, yum, yum. But it's a fun show. It's fun. Toy Story ad? Toy Story? You mean the one with Woody? Hang on. Hang on, I gotta check something real quick. Tell me today's not the day. Oh, thank God, I still have time. I still have time. Don't scare me like that. Don't scare me like that. My hair stood on end and I almost leapt 3 feet in the air and yelled eep and hit my head on the ceiling and would have had to rub the bump on my head. Instead, my hair stood on end and I started sweating and the camera went out of focus. Almost had an emergency there. What the fuck did I mean by this? Oh, cause oh yeah, cause they like fly a plane through time and space to I don't even know. I don't even like what the fuck was this Christmas special even? What was Stephen Moffat cooking with this one? Secret of Kells. Okay, I think for this one, yeah, I watched it, but I wasn't paying attention. But the people I was watching with kept talking about Reddit. So I think this movie and Reddit will forever be like fused together in my mind. And for whatever reason, by the time I was done writing this interview, I really wanted to play Dig Dug. I don't know if you could tell. Mac and this fucking piece of shit movie. I could shit out a better McDonald's commercial. This movie pisses me off. I fucking hate Mac and Me. And I don't remember who the late night host is that Paul Rudd keeps doing this to. It's objectively a really funny bit that he keeps coming onto this guy's talk shows and saying like, oh, I've got a new clip from a new project I'm working on, and just shows that one fuck-ass clip from Mac and Me where the kid is sliding down the hill and falls off a cliff into the river. Objectively really funny bit. If it was happening to me, though, I'd beat the hell out of Paul Rudd. I fucking hate this movie. Monsters University. God, this movie makes me wish that college was real so bad. They make college look so cool in this movie when it's not. It's really not. Moana 2. This movie didn't need to happen. Like, the entire time I was watching this movie, I was waiting for the moment that every movie that is made for a reason, that moment when it hits you, this is why they made the movie. I kept waiting for that, and it kept not happening, and then the credits rolled, and I felt like my time had been wasted. Aside from that, this movie has a really big problem with its musical numbers actually having a deeper meaning than just the face value. I have to do this thing, but I'm scared. Or don't be scared. You're so important. You can make an impact in this world. Don't be scared. Like, do you remember when like Disney musical movies had that deeper layer to it? I know this isn't the only example, but it's the only one I can think of right now. Like The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Please don't throw a rock at my head for mispronouncing it. Please don't throw a rock at my head. No, okay. The video keeps buffering. Yeah, that's not on your end. That's on mine. We changed our internet provider last year. At some point after I came back from graduate school, we changed our internet provider, and it's really bad. It's one of those fucking mobile service. Like, they give you a glorified mobile hotspot and say, here you go, this is internet. This is definitely broadband. When it's not. It's really not. Oh my God. I remember, I want to say like somewhere between 5 and 10 years ago, we had a door-to-door salesman come to our door and try to sell us on maybe not this particular form of Wi-Fi, but it was the same provider. I think they were first rolling it out. We told them no. I'm going to be so honest, I don't know what we were thinking saying yes this time around. Anyway, hopefully this isn't too big of a problem next week, even though I know it probably is. I don't think I've seen Moana 2. I completely forgot that was made. I wish I could. This movie didn't need to happen. It didn't need to happen. This movie, on the other hand, Monsters vs. Aliens, this definitely did need to happen. Because it's now put the idea in my mind of Stephen Colbert as our president. And you know what? I'm sold. I'd vote for him. I'd vote for Stephen Colbert. Almost putting the world in a state of nuclear annihilation because he mistook the button for the one that gets him a latte. Yeah, I'd vote for that guy. I'd vote for that guy because I know it would come from a good place in his heart and not a place of evil and green. No, let's not tarnish the name of the color green. Gray sludge and being annoying all the time. The Lorax. I watched the Lorax. You know what? Yeah. Yeah, I put it pretty aptly here. This could be real life if the baby boomers learned from their mistakes instead of screaming at everyone and being insufferable until their last dying breath. This could be IRL. We could make this real. I don't think the boomers are going to let it happen, though. Matilda! Matilda! This movie takes me back. I remember watching this movie as a kid, and I remember thinking that chocolate cake looked so fucking good. But, you know, rewatching it as an adult, my first thought coming out of it was if what happened to Miss Trunchbull happened to me, I would jump out of the window and land on my head. And I think if you don't say the same thing, I think there might, I'm not sure if you're in your right mind if you wouldn't do the same. Garfield's Pet Force. What the fuck, man? What the fuck was this movie? What do you mean you're gonna name the main planet of the movie Dorkon? Like, dude, I went to Dorkon and everyone knew you. I didn't actually mean that. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. Please stop crying and wailing and gnashing your teeth and throwing rocks at my head. I didn't mean it. The Snowmen. This was the first Christmas special, Doctor Who Christmas special, that aired when I really started watching the movie, not the movie, the series as it was coming out. And oh my god, this episode was so fucking special to me as a kid. And rewatching it as an adult, the magic is still there. Like, there's one specific scene that magic will hit. Just watch the special. Trust. Okay, hang on. Don't start it yet. Unfortunately, what you have to do for the magic to really hit in this, you've got to watch at least 2.5 seasons of British television. Big ask, I know. It's a big ask. But I think it's worth it. Dead Poets Society. Yeah, it's good. This is one of Robin Williams' best works. And, trust me, watch it. Watch it. Mission Impossible. Okay, so last year during graduate school, one of my friends in our group, every time a new Mission Impossible movie came out, I wonder if he's in the chat right now. He probably isn't, but every time a new Mission Impossible would come out, he would rewatch all of them in the series except for 2 for good reasons. And I got to be a part of that for the final Mission Impossible movie. I'll admit it. First Mission Impossible, low-key a classic. Is this the one where he gets buff as hell? What? Mission Impossible. Why isn't my chat working? Sorry, I just got really into scratching my face for a second. Yeah, chat isn't working. That's strange. Yes, the Garfield one. Yes, he does get buff as hell. But I can't remember if that's actually just Garfield or if that's like the superhero Dorkon AU version of Garfield that gets buff. I think it might be both, actually. Yeah, Mission Impossible, there's a reason people reference it all the time in other works. It's got some sauce to it. The Minecraft movie. It is so clear. Excuse me. It is so clear to me that almost, if not everyone involved in this movie's production knew that no one was going to take this movie seriously, and that because of that, they could do pretty much whatever the hell they wanted. And boy, did they ever. And it works so well. I think in like a decade or two, this is going to be a cult classic. The, it's and it hits even better. We'll get to that in a bit. We'll get to that in a bit. The Thing. I forgot I added this addendum to my review. Yeah, I couldn't stop thinking of Among Us the whole time, just because of the whole imposter thing. Uh, but then I have been told this is nothing like Among Us. I'm sorry, my grandson Nathan. I did not mean to make you red in the face and scream at me a lot. I will do better next time. But yeah, The Thing, it's great. It's good. Five Nights at Freddy's, this was a fun watch, especially in the theater, and especially when the other people in the theater are well behaved. Because like this came out at a weird certain time when people were starting to forget what theater etiquette was. Fortunately, seeing this movie in the theater, I got one of the good ones. And people were pretty well behaved. I had fun with this movie because of that. Vice. He really did all that? Dick Cheney really did all that? Damn. 2 minute delay? Oh my God. Not to worry. Not to worry. This VOD will be viewable today. I will be uploading this VOD before I leave this house, because I have to go and do something later this afternoon. Before I leave this house, mark my words, the VOD will be uploaded, or at least in progress of being uploaded before I leave the house. You will be able to see everything in uninterrupted, higher resolution, higher frame rate glory. I promise, I promise. 180. Okay, yeah. I'm getting the chats in real time. The stuff going out though, that's a different story. Okay, one thing I will say about the Garfield movie. I might have ranked it higher if I wasn't just listening to it the whole time in a VC full of people talking over the movie. Because I'm gonna be on some of these movies. I'm not like sitting down watching them. I'm joining a watch party, but only listening while I'm driving. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone I told you that. Please. I'm gonna get in really big trouble if I couldn't think of a fun name for the law. So I'm gonna get in really big trouble if the police learn about that. So please don't tell. Please don't snitch on me. Okay, the Blues Brothers. If you like car crash compilations, you are going to fucking love this movie. I think it's like 100 cars that they just completely obliterate in this movie, and it's fucking hilarious. Mission Impossible 3. The audio mixing in this movie, or at least the version of the movie that we saw, fucking blows chunks. You can barely hear Tom Cruise in this movie, and it pissed me off. Other than that, it was good. Ghost Protocol. Okay, when you watch a lot of Mission Impossible movies, unless you're a super diehard fan, there comes a point where they all just sort of start bleeding into each other, and you can't really discern one from the other when you try to remember it after the fact. Ghost Protocol is where that started happening to me. Hence my review. I wasn't paying attention. Who's Tom Cruise? Okay, that's page 2. Dang, we're making good time, kind of. Yeah, we might be able to get through all these before I have to go. Neja. This movie's so fucking tough. It's, oh my God. The animation studios in China and production studios in China They have sauce. Watch Neja, and then when you're done with that, watch Neja 2. Trust me, they're tough. Low-key kind of Sonic coded, but not Sonic when it's bad. Sonic when it's good and it's tough. Think Shadow Generations. Put that in your head and then watch. Think Sonic Adventure 2 kinda. Quest for Zoo. I'm sorry, Quest for Zoo. I can't put disrespect on the name of Zuzu Pets. Excuse me. But this movie fucking broke me, man. There comes a point when you have a little too much slop on your plate and you just can't down that next spoonful. This was that next spoonful for me. I think this might be my most liked review too. I was in a bad spot coming out of that movie. Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. I'm going to be so honest. I don't remember a thing that happens in this movie. There has to be like some political layer, like electoral politics layer to this movie. Otherwise, I wouldn't talk about President Baldwin getting elected in 2004. I can't imagine why that would have come up in my head writing the review unless there was a layer to it like that. The Princess and the Frog. I'm gonna be honest. After they stopped making movies like this, I feel like a piece of Disney as an animation studio sort of died. Like, I can't, other than maybe Tangled, I can't remember. Wait, did Tangled come out? I think Tangled came out before this. Never mind. After The Princess and the Frog came out, there was like a level, I don't want to say depth, but there was like a level of heart and soul in Disney's scripts that stopped showing up after The Princess and the Frog released. I hope we get it back someday because I really miss the passion that was in The Princess and the Frog. Keith David, he's my goat. I love Keith David. Fight Club. It's Fight Club. It's good, but it's not as good as diehard fans of this movie make it out to be. I think it's worth at least one watch, maybe a second, just to pick up on details you might have missed the first time around. Quigley? Fuck Quigley, man. Fuck this goddamn movie. This movie pissed me off. Gary Busey? Go fuck yourself, dude. You're such an asshole. Gary Busey to me isn't playing a character in this movie. He's just being himself. He just showed up to set, did all that, and they built a movie around it. This might be the greatest review I've ever written, though. High School Musical. It's low-key goated. Like, objectively, if we're looking at this movie objectively, there are so many movies that are better than this. But, all I'll say is that it became a sensation for a reason. It became a sensation for a reason. Schindler's List. Oh my God. Like, the climax and resolution of this movie, there is nothing that I can say that will prepare you for that kind of emotion hitting. All I can say is watch the movie. It's a long movie. Yeah, it's a long movie. There are moments when it can be really rough to get through. Push through it. Trust me. Please don't destroy the treasure of Foggy Mountain. This is God. This is Pizza Movie before Pizza Movie came out. It has that same kind of energy. But it's fun. It's funny. It's fun. Please watch Please Don't Destroy the Treasure of Foggy Mountain. Steven Universe the movie. It's not perfect. It's not perfect, but God, this movie holds a special place in my heart. Spinell as a character is so compelling to me. And I also really dig how this movie is a foundation. Stop moving the microphone. Um, with the context of Steven Universe Future, I really like how the movie sets up that foundation for Future to build off of. Also canon to the true Undertale timeline. That's a conversation for another day, though. Donnie Darko. I can't remember a thing that happens in this movie. But I watched it on Mother's Day. That's about all I remember about watching this movie. Other than the music was good. The music that they pulled externally to put in this movie, it was good, and it really added to the atmosphere of the movie. Piccolo. Okay, I didn't actually watch Piccolo, like what it's showing here. What happened here is something that we call Piccolo Day, where every May 13th, me and this group of people I watch movies with, movie night. Well, I'll call it movie night. We get together and we watch the Dragon Ball episode or movie or whatever it is, where they celebrate Piccolo Day, which is May 13th apparently. So we get together, we watch this, and I needed more wine than I had that day. I need a little more wine to get through that. Casablanca. Okay, I started watching Casablanca, right? My parents keep telling me that I watched the fuck out of this movie, and I kept quoting it all the time. I have no recollection of this. No recollection of this. I was that young. I tried to rewatch it, because, you know, people keep telling me it's a classic, and people keep telling me that I really liked this movie as a kid. I sat through this movie for 40 minutes. I could not focus. I could not pay attention to what was happening, except that they kept saying the name of some location over and over. I can't even remember what the location was called. They kept saying Casablanca over and over and over again, and I couldn't retain anything that was happening. I'm gonna have to revisit it at some point. But you know, it's been over a year at this point, so who knows? Anchorman 2. God, this movie is so fucking problematic. Like people say all the time, "Oh, this show couldn't be made. Oh, this movie couldn't be made these days." This movie could not be made. Like this script could not be made in 2026. The only redeeming quality about this movie to me is how full of joy and whimsy Brick is. Like if Steve Carell and Brick were not in this movie, this straight in the garbage. Straight in the fucking garbage. Oh yeah, rewatched the Minecraft movie, but this time I was not sober. And yeah, that is what this movie was made for. It was made for watching either drunk or high. And it does that really well. Mission Impossible Fallout. There's a nuke in this movie, and there's a fushigi ball, I guess. I cannot at this point, I am incapable of discerning one Mission Impossible from the other, except for the first one and maybe the final one. That Dead Reckoning, another Mission Impossible. There's a train in here. Oh yeah, there is a train. The train in this one is kind of cool. They use it in pretty cool ways. The first Anchorman, is not quite as egregious as Anchorman 2. Anchorman 2 is bad. Like, it's bad. The Final Reckoning. This is one of the only Mission Impossibles that I can isolate and remember in my head. They get some crazy shit in this movie. Like, there's a part of me that both does and doesn't believe that Tom Cruise did the submarine stuff himself. I kept hearing for The Final Reckoning, they had different endings in different theaters. I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, I think of the ending that I got in my theater when I saw it as the canon ending, as the good ending. I really like the note they ended this movie on. And I hope they don't make any more movies, because I think that would soil the ending for me a bit. Oh boy. I started watching the prequels here. This one's going to go to George Lucas directly, because I've got something to say to him. George Maurice Lucas, you had us all waiting. Who shows up a whole 93 minutes late to their own movie? Now you go sit in the corner and you think about what you did, and no dessert for a week. Toy Story 3. Now, when I wrote this, I want you, when you read this review, I can watch you reading it right now. I want you to pretend that instead of a 3, I wrote a 5. Because this was a pre-chapter 3 and 4 world where we all, and yes, we all, thought that Woody theory was gonna come true in chapter 3. Yes, chat is busted on stream. Also, streaming to YouTube is busted. I think that came from, me not using this software for its intended purpose for a year. But don't worry. I can read it, but there's just a hell of a big delay. Why did I get pinged? Who in there? Who? Is there a time that would work best for me? Scratch his head with finger. Looks at the clock. Scratches my head with finger again. Forgets what I was thinking about. Remembers and then keeps scratching. Probably in like 3 or 4 hours. Maybe. We'll see. Anyway, what was I doing? Oh, Toy Story 3! Okay. I understand why people believe the series should have ended with this movie. I have a feeling in my stomach that the reason that they are continuing the story, like apart from it's Toy Story, it's going to make $1 billion or some shit. It's going to make money. I think that there is a deeper reason we keep getting Toy Story films. Maybe we find out why that is with Toy Story 5. Maybe we have to see a 6 or 7. Okay. I said it. I know I said it. Please stop screaming. It's hurting my ears. I just think we haven't seen the reason why yet. Lugia is huge. I would know. I can't see him. Toy Story 3 is a very good ending to the trilogy. The Social Network. Can I get a hearty fuck you, Mark Zuckerberg, from everybody? Can everyone who's both watching the stream now and watching the VOD later and watching the inevitable full edit that I make when I finally get off my ass and do it, can I get everyone to scream at the top of their lungs, fuck you, Mark Zuckerberg? Thank you. Thank you. Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. God, I hope Christopher Lee's back is okay, because he really carried this movie. He really carried this movie. Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. This is a top 3 Star Wars movie for me. I get that it has flaws. I get it's not perfect. I get objectively it's probably one of the worst Star Wars movies. But to me, that cheese and those things that are wrong with it only add to the movie's charm. I think its flaws are what make this movie good. And it doesn't hurt that it is chock full of lightsaber duels, and I'm going to be so for real. I love me a good lightsaber duel. Also, I think my viewing experience of the movie this time around was heightened by the fact that I had read the novelization. Maybe I might be a little biased there, but I love the story it's telling here. The Force Awakens. Oh God, time for the sequels. Okay. Force Awakens, it looks really good. I'm getting so fucking sick and tired of everyone saying that Rey is overpowered because she won the duel here. The movie shows you why she won. It shows you every single reason why she won. It's cold as fuck out there. Kylo Ren took a fucking bowcaster bolt to the torso. Killed his own father. Is going through all that emotional turmoil. All right, you know what, smart guy? Let's see you take a crack at it. Let's see you take a bowcaster bolt to the liver, kill your father, and then try to win a 2v1 in a crumbling stage full of snow. Let's see you try it. Not so fucking easy, is it? Last Jedi? I like The Last Jedi. I think it's a top 3 film in the franchise. And I'm tired of pretending it... Will you stay still? I'm tired of pretending it isn't. It subverts the expectations. I think the trilogy would have been boring if they had just done exactly what the fans expected them to do. And the core message of this film, that you don't have to be from like a special place or have some kind of lineage behind you to really make a difference in the world that you find yourself in. I think that's a really good message to send to the audience. We'll touch on this in a minute, but I like to pretend that Rise of Skywalker didn't happen. And when I do that, this movie becomes so much better. So much better. Also, all the qualms from Mark Hamill for a while, too, that Luke would not behave this way. How the fuck do you know? We didn't see absolutely everything that Luke went through between the original trilogy and here. Let's see you fall into a cycle that you worked so hard to break from. That you were like your father in more ways than you'd like to admit. Let's see you go through that and not be utterly crushed. That you tried so hard to be better than the people who came before you just to find out that you're just as bad as they were. That you're just as foolhardy as they were. That you failed your family just like your father failed you. Makes a little more sense now, doesn't it? Oh yeah, and Ben Solo, you're kind of weird. You're kind of weird for the stuff you did in this movie. Okay, Rise of Skywalker. I'm just gonna read what I wrote here because I think all my thoughts can be succinctly put in my review here. Hey J.J. Abrams. George, you're off the hook. I want to talk to J.J. Abrams for a second. How about next time we're doing an improv exercise and our improv partner does something with the scene that we don't 100% like? How about instead we let another individual see what they do with the scene instead of throwing a fucking nuclear temper tantrum all over the project. How about we follow the principles of yes and? Who knows? Maybe this other player in question would have done something kind of cool with the scene that Ryan Johnson had left for us. If only we had a screenplay written by this potential other player where we could see what this would have looked like. Please go find the Duel of the Fates script by Colin Trevorrow and read it. It ends the sequel trilogy so much better than J.J. Abrams did. This movie has one saving grace. I adore the environmental and sound design of the planet Exegol. That and Ian McDiarmid is just a really good actor. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Really, Scott Pilgrim? You fought the world? I kept a tally in this movie, dude, and I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You fought 7 people. Maybe 8. Call it a hunch, but I think there's a few more people in the world than just 7 or 8 people, dude. Maybe instead of Scott Pilgrim versus the World, you should call it Scott Pilgrim versus 7 or 8 people, I guess. Wayne's World. Rob Lowe, you're such a fucking asshole in this movie. I fucking hate your character. The Tragedy of Macbeth. All the flashy set design and VFX of the modern cinema industry can do not but bow before the simple, well-executed stage play adaptation. I think this is the best adaptation of a stage production, musical or play, translated to film. I really like it. Denzel Washington, it was Denzel Washington in this, right? Yes. He's such a good Macbeth. He's so good. Lilo and Stitch. Ohana means family. Family means no one gets left behind. I want you to take that. I want you to put it right in here. And I want you to remember it. And I want you to carry it with you the rest of your life, just like this movie wants you to. Okay? Thank you. Holes. You know, this movie kind of teaches you that if you dig enough holes, you'll find buried treasure. When I wrote this, I was on like halfway to 11 million, halfway between 10 and 11 million, and I'm not so sure if that's true. At this point, I'm closer to like 30 million holes, and I'm still not sure if it's true. I think I'll have to dig another maybe 40 million holes, and maybe I'll know for sure if you can find buried treasure. I don't know. I really wish the sequels were treated better. Hopefully in the future, when we inevitably get more mainline Star Wars movies, they're actually raw as fuck. Here's the thing about that. The movie front, I wouldn't be inclined to hold your breath, considering what we got with The Mandalorian and Grogu. I think the expectation a lot of Star Wars fans should set for themselves with the movies here on out is to just have fun with what you get. If you're really looking for good Star Wars, I think you're going to have to look to the animated series. That seems to be where they're pooling a lot of their holy shit, this is good Star Wars effort. The Maul series, I need that in theaters. The Maul show, to me, is peak Star Wars. Yellow Submarine. This, God, I tried. I really tried with this movie, but the visuals kept giving me a headache. And I'm going to be so for real. I do not care for the Beatles, like their sound. musically. I do not care for it. Like this movie is an epilepsy machine. It is. The visuals are too much. Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted. I think this movie in particular is a good marker to show where I don't want to say quality decreased in like mainstream animated family films, but the quality definitely changed. Priorities definitely changed in how they were made. And I think it started right around when Madagascar 3 was made. The Angry Birds movie. Wait, the Bad Piggies are bad? I'd say the Angry Birds movie is an exception to the rule I just outlined with Madagascar 3. I mean, yeah, it's objectively not good, but it has its moments. It has its moments. Jason Sudeikis is a really good pick for the Red Angry Bird. Office Space. I first heard about this movie from Emp Lemon's There Will Never Ever Be Another Movie Like Office Space. Who the fuck has the goddamn gall to call this house on a Thursday afternoon? I'm just gonna let it ring. Okay. What was I talking about? Office Space. Okay, let me just say to all the corporate overlords that are surely listening and watching to me right now, or in the future, let me just say that I would never do anything like what happens in this movie, okay? I love working my job. I love doing what my boss says. I love listening to every little thing that I'm doing wrong. I love learning about how I am losing the company money. I love being laid off so that the most boring people alive can make even more money that they will never ever be able to spend, while millions, perhaps even billions, starve and fight for their fucking lives. I love the company. I love trading more than half my waking life for a meager wage. I love not getting cake at the company birthday party. I love getting my favorite red stapler stolen from me, and I would never defraud the company for hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars, and I would never burn the company down. Thank gosh for our glorious capitalist society. Thank gosh. It's a good movie. It's good. An extremely goofy movie. This movie has some sauce, and you do not expect it to have this level of sauce going in, but trust, it's a good sequel. It's a good sequel that I think could have worked in theaters. I think this was one of Disney's many direct-to-home video movies. This came out in that era, I feel like, where they were making a lot of those. Like Hunchback of Notre Dame 2, Lion King 2. It feels like one of those movies. The Adventures of Food Boy. There is no fucking way. No fucking way, dude. That teacher genuinely thought that Food Boy made that mess of obscene amounts of mustard and bread all by himself. Not only that, there's no way that teacher not only believed it, but then yelled at him for it. Be fucking for real, man. In the Shadow of the Moon. God, the way this documentary portrays all the times we went up to the moon. I want to go there so bad, dude. It's so cool. Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules. Steve Zahn and Devin Bostick. Is that his last name? Yeah, Devin Bostick. And also Robert Capron, too, a little bit. They're so good in this movie. Fucking the gaslit, the sheer and utter rage. Not vindictive, like righteous fury that Steve Zahn pulls off when he realizes that he was not crazy for thinking that door used to have a lock on it, I think that's one of the best things he's done as an actor. He couldn't even spell loaded diaper. God. Hang on, I'll be right back. Actually, wait, I'm going to get to the end of June, and then I'm going to go blow my nose. And I'm good on water. So, Ed, Edd and Eddy's Big Picture Show. Do you remember the olden days when cartoons were 90% unfiltered slapstick? Like, they just beat the hell out of each other, and it was funny as fuck because the physics were and like the way they were doing it was just so absurd. Have you ever found yourself in a diagnosable deficiency of over-the-top physicality and animated squash and stretch that makes you yearn for more than this world can offer? Were you born before the Game Boy Advance was invented? Have you ever watched the Flintstones and marveled at their advancements in transportation? Are you in a state where if you've seen one more fucking goddamn CalArts smile, you might just lose your lunch? Are you plagued with thoughts that no matter what, you just can't do anything right? Have you ever wanted to run off a cliff and float in the air for a few seconds where you haven't yet remembered that gravity exists? If you said yes to any of these, this movie might be right for you. Fright Night. You know what the hell? Sure. This was a movie that needed to happen. You'll enjoy this movie. You're gonna like the taste of the cheese in this movie. All right, I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. And I'm tall. Why am I so tall now? Oh, I see. Okay, there we go. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. The movies. K-pop Demon Hunters. This movie felt so Deltarune coded in all the best ways. Like the climax, 3 heroes appearing to banish an otherworldly threat. I don't know. Feels kind of Deltarune coded. But that aside, it's animation's good. The music's good. It's a good watch. Stranger Than Fiction. Oh my God, this movie. The premise of this movie and just what it does with the characters. For a long time before I saw this movie, I had like the beginnings of a story like it in my head. I want to write a story like it someday. It'll take a while, but it's gonna happen someday. Stand-up solutions. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, this isn't a movie. Full disclosure, this isn't a movie, but it is on Letterboxd. This is how long of a special is it? It is a little over hour long satirical stand-up comedy special where the comedian is role-playing as a really pathetic, down on his luck, and low-key kind of stupid tech bro giving a presentation about like some kind of way to a startup company about AI generated comedy. Now that sounds bad. Trust me on this. It's good. The commentary that he has on AI as a whole and these tech bros, you're gonna like it. Bionicle Mask of Light. Did they really just walk across an entire island just to get to a spot that was like maybe a quarter day's journey from where they started. Get a better sense of direction. God damn. What the fuck do we know? I don't know. I don't know what we know, but after watching this, I know for a fact I know less than when I went into it. Don't watch this. Do not watch this. It is so fucking weird and confusing. It's not worth the effort. I trust me, it's not worth it. Super bad. God. This movie has its issues. Absolutely, it has its issues. Um, the characters are very problematic at times, but I think I think it makes the characters feel more real to the time period. Because I mean, what? This is depicting the 80s, the 90s? No, no, it's depicting the early 2000s. So they're definitely a little more problematic than I think would have been accurate for that time period, but I don't know, that one scene where Jonah Hill and Michael Cera's characters actually talk to each other about how much they mean to one another. I don't know, that makes it all worth it to me. That and McLovin is kind of badass. Like Loki, he's kind of tough. He's kind of tough. The Sorcerer's Apprentice. Um this movie is what happens when a few people tap into the experience of just playing make believe on the playground as kids. They take that experience, they keep it in their hearts, and they pull from it to make something really special when they're adults. This movie gives that vibe so hard for me, and I love it for that. The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle. I forgot I wrote this. Um can I be so for real for a second? I cannot fucking stand Rocky's voice. I cannot stand it. It's like maybe if he didn't talk as much, I could bear it, but he talks so much in this movie. And there comes a point when you just get tired of listening to him. Bullwinkle's chill though. He is invited to the Dream Blunt rotation. An adventure in time and space. I honestly think this biopic was a better celebration of the show's 50th anniversary than the actual, I say actual, I mean like the canon 50th anniversary special. Like just the story they tell about how the show got its beginnings and how much it affected William Hartnell's life. Bill, I get it. If I was in your shoes, I wouldn't want to leave the show either. Oh, damn, we're making good pace. Really good pace, damn. Almost famous. A part of me finds it really hard to believe that something like the sequence of events that occurs in this movie's story could have happened. But if I'm being, God, if I'm being honest, not only probably did it happen, it probably happened a lot to a lot of people. And it probably fucked up a lot of people's lives. This dynamic with just regular old people getting in with touring musical groups and just the inherent power dynamics that were at play there. God, that must have sucked to live through. Murder on the Orient Express. It's a good murder mystery. I think this is the de facto whodunit murder mystery. If you watch or read or listen to any murder mystery, please let it be this one. Please let it be Murder on the Orient Express. That said, however, really? You expect me to believe they all fit in that tiny ass cabin in a moving train at night without anyone stopping them? Really? It's fun though. I really enjoyed it. Okay, Terminator 2. Okay, there is a certain point in this movie. I think it's when the original Terminator, the Arnold Terminator appears, and there's a shot where he comes out of a building and the camera pans up to show him in like the leather jacket outfit and the jeans and with the shotgun, and he hops on the motorbike and he just speeds away. That is the most dude fuck yes I have ever felt watching a movie. I perfectly understand why Gen Xers hold this movie in so high regard. This movie has aura. It has so much aura. What did I write for the second review? Oh, yeah. Now I want to drink beer and smoke a cigarette and listen to Guns N' Roses. I think I need a doctor. Oh, God. There are pieces of this movie that I find a little unsettling. And I think that's just a part of beauty pageant culture, especially for kids. I find that just inherently creepy. Like, you're telling me we have organizations that put together contests to judge the beauty of kids? Really? And like, there's a lot of people who don't find anything wrong with that. Are we serious? But that aside, one of the core messages of the movie with I think it's Paul Dano's. Yeah, it's Paul Dano in this movie. It's a moment between. I think it's between Paul Dano's character and Steve Carell's character, after Paul Dano figured out that no matter how hard he tried, how much effort he gave, he would never be able to achieve his dream of, what was it even? I think it was serving in the Marine Corps or something like that, just because he was colorblind. No, it was either in the Marine Corps or being a member of the Air Force, that he wouldn't be able to do it just because he's colorblind. God, that crash out he has immediately after it. Oh, God. You feel it. You feel that anguish. Paul Dano tapped into something real in that scene. And the discussion that he and Steve Carell's character have later on, I think it's such an important message to carry with you. Do what you love. Fuck everything else. Jurassic Park. Oh, big fucking surprise. Newman gets bored at the post office and ruins everything. Imagine my shock. How is it? How is it? What even is this character's name? What even is this actor's name? No, that's not you. I don't know. The guy who plays Newman on Seinfeld. Every single time I catch this asshole in a movie, he's doing the exact same thing and ruining everything just because he's an asshole and he wants to. But he does it so well. He does it so well. How to Train Your Dragon. The dynamic that Hiccup has with Toothless, especially that one montage where they're like getting acclimated with one another that ends with Hiccup holding his hand out and Toothless putting like reaching out to meet it. God, that meant something to me, man. Mamma mia. Chat, I don't know. Meryl Streep might just be the greatest to ever do it. I'm no expert, but she might just be the greatest to ever do it. Llamageddon? What the fuck was that? What the fuck? You're telling all the budget went to like a single day llama rental and they were able to do this? Like, I. It's so bad. It's so bad and it's so good. Oh my god. I like I really don't want to call it this, but it's kind of giving Gen Z's Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It's kind of it's giving that a little bit. It does get kind of disgusting though. Oh my god, RRR. You know, I always wondered what a shonen anime, something like a Dragon Ball or a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, would look like in live action. And I've also separately wondered what a shonen would look like if it was based on historical fiction, especially one that wasn't centered on Western civilization. This movie answered both of those questions for me in one 3-hour runtime. And it uses every second. It uses every second to its fullest potential. If there is no other 3-hour movie you watch RRR. It's good. It's so good. Smosh the movie. Can we get more people making movies where we just have fun and play and do stupid shit, but it's awesome because we're having fun the whole time? Please, oh please, oh please, oh please, oh please, oh please. And then I'll cut it off in the middle of one of those pleases, and it'll be a fun cut. Robots. There were two things that radicalized me as a kid. One of them was we had, I don't know who in our house got it, but we got a box set of, God, what was it? Planet Earth? Is it called Planet Earth? The David Attenborough, like, nature documentary series where they, like, showcase a bunch of different ecosystems and, like, follow certain animals through it. That was one thing. That was one thing. The environmentalist message there, that was one thing that radicalized me. The other, and I didn't know it at the time. I didn't know it, but I realized it rewatching it as an adult. The core themes of this movie. This is a movie for the working class. Right to... Just trust me. Just trust me on this. John Wick, you know, when people are right, they're right. This John Wick guy, he's kind of tough. He kind of does some cool badass shit. And all because... And all that just because some asshole killed your dog that your wife gave you, your wife who's dead now. This guy's kind of tough. I kind of dig this John Wick guy. Oh my god, zombies. Oh, I fucking... This fucking series of movies, man. I got beef with zombies. This whole series, especially the first one. It's giving so... It's giving colonial corporate propaganda. The core message I keep seeing in all of these movies, mostly the first one, but you can sort of see it in all of them, is that if you are a member of a class that either has been historically or is actively being oppressed, not only should you forgive your oppressors, but you should let them keep their power. Just because, oh, they're nice to you every now and again. And of course Disney's the kind of studio to be putting out this message. Of course it's them. Don't piss me off. Don't piss me off with this zombie bullshit. Blue Beetle, so I had this movie on my radar for a long time. One of my buddies, Excelsior, kept talking about, not just with me, but like, kept pushing this movie everywhere. They love Blue Beetle. I thought maybe they were gassing up this movie a little more than it deserved to be. I was wrong. The media convinced me DC was washed. I didn't read the actual comics. I only looked at Smash Twitter. I don't know comics. I was jealous of Bugs, and Mercury was in retrograde. I will hereby respect Excelsior, and I will not talk down the future king of the DCU, I forget how to pronounce their name. Please don't throw a rock at my head. Please don't throw a rock at my head. Please don't. And then I'll cut it off there and it'll be great. Dokusei Classmates. This movie, the art style, it looks like how an old book feels, and it probably smells like a warm cup of peppermint tea 20 minutes after it was served. It's also pretty good yaoi, so you've got that going for it too. The Lego Batman movie, on the other hand, that movie we just talked about, Classmates, that was full-fledged yaoi, and it made no apologies for it. It didn't even try. It didn't even try to like sort of like weave it in through metaphor and stuff. It was just straight up yaoi. This yaoi is way stronger. I'm sorry, but it is, and it's not close. The dynamic between Batman and Joker. Train to Busan. God, what a fucking movie. Like, this might be my favorite take on a piece of media that depicts an apocalypse in progress. Just the desperation and the innate terror that would come from a situation like that. It's so palpable here. The Devil Wears Prada. It's good. It's a classic for a reason. Anne Hathaway... No fucking way I just pronounced it like that. Anne Hathaway knocks it out of the park. Meryl Streep... It is Meryl Streep, right? It is? Please tell me I got that right. Yeah, Meryl Streep knocks it out of the park. Emily Blunt and Stanley Tucci, they all knock it out of the park. Not a phenomenal movie, I'll give it that, but it's still really good. It's a classic for a reason. Now, The Judge. I mean, it's a Robert Downey Jr. film. It's a Robert Downey Jr. film. It is a lawyer film. It is pretty much what you would expect from those two getting meshed together. The Loud House movie. I don't give a fuck about The Loud House. I do not give a fuck about any of these characters. I don't care about any of their problems. I don't care about any of the vocal performances. I don't care about the art style. Fuck you, Lincoln Loud, for screaming at the top of your lungs, I love being Duke of Scotsland, and giving me $3 billion in medical bills. I'd sue your ass if you weren't a stupid shit for brains fictional character. Why do you have to keep screaming all the goddamn time? There were even subtitles, asshole, fucker. I hope he dies tomorrow like his Duke ancestor. Oh yeah, I rewatched Mask of Light. This was after I had seen a short video essay that sort of highlights the dynamic between Jowler and Takua. And with that context, the movie hits a little harder this time around. You know, maybe sometimes it does take watching a video essay to understand the subtleties of how a beautiful friendship can be depicted in an otherwise mediocre film. And let me make that clear. I love this series to death. It is one of the most important pieces of media to me as a person. The movies are bad. The movies are bad. And I don't think it helps that they either were not allowed or actively chose not to depict the best parts of the story in an animated form. Like, the parts of the story that the movies depict, I think are the most boring parts of the story. I know there are a lot of people in the fan base who love 2003 Bionicle and the story that's being depicted in Mask of Light. I know there are people that really love the sort of flashbacks with Metru Nui that we see in the second and third movies. I think they're way too overhyped. It's not that good. The mysticism, just the utter air of mystery with the story in 2001 and 2002, how fucking nuts it gets between 2006 and 2008. Oh my God. You're telling me you cooked all that and you didn't make a movie or a series out of any of it? Are you fucking kidding me? Anyway. The Incredibles, my favorite Pixar film ever made. Every single time I watch this movie, I notice something more about it. And the better it gets in my head. This was one of a small collection of movies that I started watching before I fully understood the English vernacular. Like, I could tell that words were being said. I could tell when words started and ended. But like for a lot of the English vocabulary, I had no fucking idea what it meant. It was just sounds that flowed together really nicely. This was one of those movies that I saw again and again and again throughout that era of my life and beyond. Toy Story was in that bunch. Robots appeared a couple times there, but not nearly as frequent. It was mainly Toy Story, Incredibles, and a little bit of Robots and Hoodwinked. But this one, every single time I come back to The Incredibles, I notice something new about it. For example, like I was just talking about when I was a wee lad, it completely went over my head that during the big fight with the Omnidroid at the end of the movie, Violet grabs Syndrome's remote. I just sort of thought the remote was floating around and making those shrieking noises. When I watched it the summer before I wrote this review, I noticed the plant and payoff between Edna's demonstration of how durable Helen's suit was with how she figured out what to do for everyone to survive that plane crash. This time around, though, what I noticed is that Robert Parr suffers from early onset male pattern baldness. That's the one new thing I noticed here. The Bad Guys 2. It is very clear to me that the writers and just the production team at large understood the kinds of audiences that were connecting to the original film. And I don't know how they managed to do it, but somehow they managed to make every single one of those different audiences happy with this movie. God. That's where I'll leave it. Norm of the North, go fuck yourself. You know what, Martin Scorsese? It's you who doesn't understand. Our cinema needs all the stuff in this film. Without a talking animal, or an infinite number of marketable, cute, and cuddly characters, or a fuck ton of piss and shit and fart and burp jokes, or the main conflict taking place in metropolitan area USA, or gratuitous dance numbers where the main character twerks, how will kids understand what's going on? Get fucking real, dude. The Color Purple, how wonderful that despite everything that life threw at these characters, that the world in which they lived threw at them, how many obstacles and systemic struggles were put in their path, their love still prevailed. This sisterly love prevailed. Extremely touching. Caddyshack. God. Yeah, so Chevy Chase was always like that. He wasn't like, he didn't become the way he is and the way he became infamous for just by getting old. He was always like this. Gladiator. Yeah, this is a pretty good summary right here. Dirty fucking cheating pervert Nepo baby ruins everything, and a champion of great legend has to fix it. Still to this day, I haven't figured out a way to make this about Smash Brothers, but there's got to be some way. The Revenant. I'm pretty sure this is the movie that Leonardo DiCaprio finally won an Oscar for. And he won that Oscar for a reason. His performance in this movie, plus just the way that the cinematography, the color grading, and the soundtrack build this atmosphere of winter throughout the mountains in America. Oh my God. I actively felt cold watching this movie. The Public Enemy. You know, I've tried on multiple occasions to get into what people who are really into movies consider like the golden age of film, this early age where like a lot of techniques were being pioneered for the first time. These were the first like big movies ever made, and like they're so important to the history of filmmaking. I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry, I don't care. Watching this movie settled it probably forever for me. I don't think I like this golden age of cinema very much. I don't think I care about the stories being told. I don't think I really enjoy how the techniques are being developed. I don't care. I don't care. Lethal Weapon. Who's this cast again? I will say, okay, a lot of movies that I've seen that have Danny Glover as one of, if not the main male lead, a lot of them that I've seen so far tend to like to typecast Danny Glover as this older sort of creep pervert kind of character. Seeing him as something not that at all here in Lethal Weapon, it was kind of a breath of fresh air. Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Dude, talk about a prank gone wrong, dude. Evil prank that somehow evades every attempt to stop it from reaching its full conclusion. And God, that last shot of the guy riding the nuclear bomb as it's dropping, what a shot. The Avengers. Okay, so this is another movie that I watched a lot growing up. That same TV I talked about earlier, that CRT with the DVD player built in. In middle school, what I would do a lot is I would play Minecraft on my laptop while having that movie playing nearby, just to like have something to listen to while I did it. It's a lot better than I remember it being. I mean, it's okay. Let me be clear. it is nowhere near one of the best Marvel films. That and it's a Marvel film. But for what it is, it's not half bad. It's pretty good. Corpse Bride. Why did I write this like it's because it is Undertale coded. This guy falls down underground and there's a bunch of monsters down there and he befriends a lot of them and then he goes back to the surface and some of them come with him or something like that. It's kind of Undertale coded, but in a really ethereal, beautiful kind of way. Life of Pi. The metaphors that this movie builds, I think, go over the heads of a lot of people. And I know this because I was one of those people for a long time until I had someone tell me that, the stuff that happens in this movie, it's allegory for, like, survival cannibalism. I mean, even without this context, when I wrote this review, just like the dynamic between what's the character's name? The dynamic between Pi and Richard Parker, the different locales that they stumble upon while they're trying to survive, it's good, bro. It's good. The Amazing Spider-Man. This movie's good. It's fine. To this day, I don't understand why comic Twitter always shits on this movie. Like, sure, it's no fucking, 5 out of 5 star. It's no Country for Old Men. It's no fucking, what's a timeline? It's no God. I kind of like this better than Godfather. No, that's not important right now. How the fuck did I let comic Twitter convince me this movie was ass? It was so much fun and camp as hell, and low-key the wisdom that Uncle Ben spits, I carry with me to this day. The Sonic OVA. Holy fuck, dude. This movie perfectly distills what the series felt like pre-Dreamcast in the 90s. Not the Saturday morning cartoon, not the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog series, not the comics, this movie. The way they build the set, the environmental design, the character performances, the soundtrack, the sound design. This is what Sonic the Hedgehog felt like in the early 90s. Especially Sonic CD. Shawshank Redemption. Yeah. Okay. Andy Dufresne and, God, what was the other character's name? Andy Dufresne and Red were just friends. Yeah, right, dude. Yeah, right. Sure, I'm sure if you keep saying that, you too will believe it someday. Iron Man 3. Okay. This movie is hype moments and aura. I'm tired of people talking like this is the worst Iron Man movie in the trilogy, because Loki, I think it's the best. Actually, no, hang on. That's not true. The first one is also really good. Yeah, this movie is just hype moments and aura. And quite frankly, I'm tired of film bros pretending that sometimes a movie just being hype moments and aura just automatically makes it bad. Because it doesn't. It doesn't make it a masterpiece, but it still makes it a good use. Not a good. It's not a waste of time to just watch hype moments and aura for like 90 minutes. Grow up. A Clockwork Orange. Okay, I don't entirely know what I was expecting this movie to be going into it, but it wasn't that. It wasn't that, let me tell you. Treasure Planet. It will never not break my heart that this movie was one of the last nails in the coffin for traditional 2D animation for Disney. Because this is a really good, I think objectively, this is one of the best movies Disney has ever put out. And the message that it tries to tell the audience is even better. Yes, there is greatness that's in each and every one of you, even if you don't feel like it's there. Lock in, tap into it, become the person you're meant to be. Pulp Fiction, not as good as people make it out to be. People keep talking like Pulp Fiction is one of the best movies ever made. It's fine. Yeah. That this review kind of encapsulates my main problem with the movie. I feel like this movie purely exists. Like, just the way the narrative is put together, the kind of vibe I get from the performances, and just the way it's shot. I don't know. I'm getting the vibe from Pulp Fiction that Quentin Tarantino just made it so he could do that one monologue that he does, where he can say that one slur just a bunch of times without too many people getting mad at him for it. At the very least, though, this is the one of the few movies that has John Travolta in it where just the way he moves in that movie didn't make me want to puke my guts out. So at least Pulp Fiction has that going for it. 2001: A Space Odyssey. I know that this film is very important to the history of cinema. I know there's a lot of things that Stanley Kubrick did here that hadn't been done before. I understand. I understand the significance of this movie. I just don't care. I do not care. Being John Malkovich, the entire time I was watching this movie, I was waiting for either the patented text that, came in the South Park episode where they talked about Scientology, where they just flash the text, "This is what scientists actually believe," over and over, or at least something adjacent to that. Just the concept that they were portraying in this movie, it kind of felt like they were gonna do something like that. They were gonna flash text like that, or just have someone mention it, and they never did. This movie's kind of weird, but I kind of fuck with it. The tune. This is something I need to revisit because my ass was not paying attention enough when I was watching it. But, at some point in the movie, someone mentions how their nose goes missing. I, for one, would be thrilled if I all of a sudden found my nose to be missing in action. I think that would be really cool that that's something I get to say happened to me. The Naked Gun. I don't think we have quite enough movies in this world where the people behind it aren't all that concerned with trying to make a piece that makes sense. They just want to do weird and cool and funny shit and show you what they came up with for like 90 minutes to 2.5 hours. The Naked Gun for me is one of these movies, and I want more like it. Bionicle 2, Legends of Metru Nui. Okay. Can I just say, I am so sick and goddamn tired of so many people in this movie, not in this movie, in this community, saying that Vakama is, he's such a good character. He's one of the best characters in the series. He's my favorite character. He's not that good. You just read the Time Trap novel and you thought that one scene where he threatens to destroy the Mask of Time was really cool, because objectively it was. That one scene does not make up for an entire film of him being a whiny little bitch the whole time. He's my least favorite character in the series. I'm straight up. I'm so sick of listening to him talk. I don't like. I don't know what fans of this movie. I don't know what they're on. This movie, Bionicle 2: Legends of Metro Nui, might be the worst piece of media in the entire series. I don't give a fuck about what happens in this movie. Avengers: Age of Ultron, on the other hand, I never quite got why this movie got panned so hard by both like general critics and people who are following the MCU, both when it came out and like in the wake of its release. Like the stakes, at least for like a Marvel movie standards, the stakes feel real. Like it at least tried to have something to tell its audience. It at least tried. And I sincerely hope that this is not the last time we see James Spader playing a robot. He did such a good job with Ultron, except for a couple lines. There are a couple lines where I think it kind of doesn't fit with the rest of the characterization, but it's James Spader still somehow makes it work. Infinity War. Okay. My thoughts about this movie, and while I'm at it, the rest of the Avengers trilogy as well, leading up to this point, they're conditional, right? As standalone films, they're not as strong as they could be otherwise. They're not as strong as people make them out to be. This movie is a little bit of an exception to that rule. I think it I think it's affected the least by looking at it standalone. That sort of depreciation in value you get. And to be fair, getting the most out of these movies takes a lot of effort. But I think it's as someone who really enjoys fiction and what it can do and how it can be built up and the kind of messages it can tell and the kind of experiences it can create for an audience, I think just the fact that they were able to build up for so long up to this specific event, because I want to say it was close to a decade, if not a decade, that they were building up to this story specifically. The fact that they were able to not only do it at all, but stick the landing as hard as they did with Infinity War, I think it hits. I think this is one of the case studies that needs to be remembered for fiction as a whole for decades to come. It's one of the reasons why I love fiction. And I'm tired of pretending that it isn't. Endgame, like, I understand why people might hold this movie above Infinity War. But for me, the biggest strength of Infinity War is that it follows Thanos. It doesn't follow any of the other characters as the main protagonist. Not the good guy, but the protagonist. This movie doesn't do that. And while on the one hand, I get it, this one is not his story. I think just inherently trying to have so many different characters fill that role of protagonist does somewhat weaken, just through dilution, of the story you're trying to tell. That being said, though, especially with the framing of the entire MCU as what it actually is, it's a long-running it's not just a series of movies. It is a long-running narrative following a bunch of different characters. It's kind of like a D&D campaign. Viewing Endgame as the last session in a campaign for a lot of really impactful characters, I think it hits the mark. I think it hits the mark. Damn, we're almost done. Jumanji: The Next Level. Um, I mean, look at that cast. I want you to look at that cast of main four, and I want you to imagine what kind of things they get up to, like how their talents are utilized for a sequel that comes probably like 20 years after the original. I want you to think about how Hollywood wanted to use these actors' talents for a project like a decades in the future sequel. That is pretty much what this movie is. Up. The fact that not only did the writers condense so much emotional weight through the story they told within the first 10 minutes of the movie, not only were they able to do that and make sure all the emotional beats hit as hard as they needed to, but they were also able to make that not limit the story they were going to tell after that. The fact that they were able to pull that off makes this story so special to me. Captain America: The First Avenger. Like, I get it. Captain America's cool. Steve Rogers is cool. I think they play into how cool he is, or like how great of a character he is, a little too much in this movie. I would have liked to see like some more flaws and more struggles in Captain America as a character. But thank goodness we got the Winter Soldier, because everything I just said right there, we got here in the Winter Soldier. When I first saw this movie, my dad took me to see it when I want to say I was in middle school. I was probably in middle school. I didn't quite get it. I didn't quite get all the themes and the messages that they were trying to tell the audience the first time I saw it. And then I didn't rewatch it for a long time. And in that window of time when I hadn't, after I'd watched it for the first time and hadn't rewatched it, I think writing this review was the first time I had seen it since it was in the theater. I always heard from both general critics and people who are into the MCU very frequently that the Winter Soldier was one of, if not the best in the MCU. I never quite understood why. But I think I get it now. I think I get it. Civil War. Another MCU film that I have kept hearing and have heard in the past people shit on just because it feels like an Avengers film and not a Captain America film. Like, I always felt like that hate was so forced. Like, it was the cool anti-cringe counterculture thing to do, to hate crossovers just because more than one had been made in the 2010s within the last 10 years. Like the macroscopic game of chess that the main antagonist plays, it's low-key the best in the entire MCU. The character dynamics between Tony, Steve, and Bucky, that triangle, low-key it's the most realistic it has felt in an MCU film. The way Tom portrays Peter in this film specifically, it showed a lot of understanding on Tom's part on how to make the character feel real. I think it's a level of understanding I didn't quite see with Toby or Andrew in their portrayals of Peter Parker. Yes, there is a lot of cheese in this movie. But like I said earlier in this stream, maybe having a bit of cheese with your meal is good for you every once in a while. Why did I even log this? It every day that passes, I am more and more baffled that Vivzy Pop not only has the platform that she does, but uses it the way she does. I'll be real. I don't think she deserves the power she's been given. Captain America, Brave New World. Do you ever look at a piece of media and it occurs to you that there's something inside of it? Like a skeleton that belonged to a different body than it currently inhabits. And like it slithers to move one way while the body it's inside goes another. Like what that skeleton was built to become never was, and instead got replaced with the body it's now stuck inside. Hang on, let me put it another way. I think the rewrites that I'm sure happened in this movie's production cycle, I think they're a little too easy to spot. But despite this, I personally enjoy what this film tries to do despite this truth of how it was made. Themes of growing past what you were and how people deal with imposter syndrome. I think that stuff works. And coming out of this film, I have been a lot less worried about whether or not they'll mess up Avengers Doomsday. Because for a while, in a post-Endgame world where they had been taking the MCU, I was a little worried that maybe the magic had been lost. That they weren't going to be able to... that it was just going to keep declining and declining until it just withered away. I think maybe they're starting to get their sauce back. The Big Short. This is Adam McKay's best film. This is one of Steve Carell's best films. This is one of Christian Bale and Ryan Gosling and who's this last person? And Brad Pitt. This is some of their best work in a film. And oh boy, I can't wait to see the sequel that's inspired by the events we are currently living through. I can't wait to see how that sequel looks like. I can't wait to see the story they tell there. Pikmin short movies, not one film, but it's a collection. And I don't know what it was about how they put these together. Maybe it was the pacing, maybe it was the environment design, but all of us, immediately after we finished watching these, I got a really strong craving for a fresh, crunchy salad with cucumber and spinach and croutons and slices of grilled chicken and a little bit of cheese and vinegar-based dressing. Malcolm X. I never learned about this guy. In middle school and high school, in no history class that I had ever taken taught about this guy. And I think that is a fucking shame. I wish I had learned more about this man before I saw this movie. And if I start talking now about the ways I think the American education system fundamentally fails the people that have to go through it, I think we will run out of time. Oh, as is, we're running out of time. Oh, shit. Okay. Oh, I can be like half an hour late than I wanted to be. Get Out. Okay. It's really good. It's good, it's scary, it's unsettling. And I'm glad they all died. I'm glad everyone that died in that, well, not everyone that died in that movie. But like in like the ending sequences of that movie, I'm glad the antagonists got what was coming to him. And I really hope that one guy who who had like his head open on the surgery table, I hope he woke up that way. I really do. Just like the base concepts and themes of this movie, they're so potent. Last holiday, this movie was a lot more fun than I expected going in. A lot more fun, a lot more heartwarming. Like, I don't even know what I expected going in, but I didn't expect quite this. And above all else, I really appreciated the writers actually punishing an asshole main antagonist after he reformed instead of whatever it was Rebecca Sugar did with the diamonds. That is the one complaint I will forever stand by about Steven Universe. Letting the fascist diamonds like not have to pay penance for everything they did. What, they can just say, "Oh, we're good now," and like, no, that's no. No Country for Old Men. The atmosphere this movie builds. Excuse me, I have to go blow my nose again. I'll be right back. You and this review, you two be nice to each other. Ah, that's better. Okay. No Country for Old Men. The people who say that Anton in this movie is one of like the most unsettling and perhaps compelling antagonists in cinema history, they're right. He is such a creepy, unsettling character, while somehow at the same time making his point of view seem not like psychotic, but like you can tell why he believes in it as much as he does. The Equalizer. Sometimes a movie that just serves to make an actor look really badass, sometimes a movie like that is a fun watch. A Town Called Panic. It's just fun. The characters are fun. The style of animation is really charming. And a part of me wishes that there were like dubs available to make the film more accessible, but low-key, I think the fact that this is a French production really adds to its charm. Taxi Driver. I got beef with this movie. I got beef. Especially with Robert De Niro's character and how I have kept hearing people hold this film in such high regard, that De Niro's character is so compelling. Oh, I relate to De Niro's character so much. If that applies to you, I don't fucking trust you. Do not talk to me. I'm male loneliness epidemic. Not real. Doesn't exist. Everyone who thinks that there is, they're just boring and off-putting to people. Read a book or watch a movie that isn't pornography for once in your life. Talk to people like they're more than just sacks of meat. And maybe you won't fall victim to this male loneliness epidemic. I think that there are a lot of people out there who are incapable of claiming responsibility for their failings in their own character. And I think we need to start being more harsh to these people. Soul. What an absolute shame that this movie had to come out when it did. If this movie had been released in theaters, if the world was not in a state where a theatrical release just simply wasn't tenable for this project, oh, the discussions around it would be so much more universally in approval that yes, this is one of Pixar's all-time greats. Without a doubt. This is one of the most meaningful, heartfelt, beautiful movies to ever come out of Pixar. And the message that it has about the human condition and what it means to make art, to have just a feeling that you have to do this thing to be the person that you are. I don't think there will ever be a film quite like it again. Rise of the Planet of the Apes. The CGI is rough, but I do really fuck with its concepts and how it delivers on them. I think it's worth a watch. Grumpy Old Men. Grumpy Old Men. I do have a problem with this movie, and I think it's a very big and glaring problem. Can we for once get a movie where the male leads are feuding over each other, and the thing they're feuding over is not the attention of the female lead? Can we for once get a story that isn't like that? Can we for once get a story where like the two leads, when they're feuding over something, it's about some silly bullshit over like who the best Smash Ultimate player of all time is, or whether soccer should be called soccer or football or something like that? Can we get something like that, please? Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. God, props to Del Griffith. He is such a sweetheart of a character, and he's a better man and a more patient man than me. Because if it was me in that story instead of him, Neil wouldn't have lived to see the morning in Kansas. God. And I have such beef with Steve Martin. I do not care for him as a performer, as a comedian. And every time I talk about that, people are like, why? He's such a good performer. Because all the characters I see him play are assholes like Neil. How am I supposed to like a person or a performer when all I see them do is be a fucking asshole all the time? Unless your name is James Rolfe. I fuck with James Rolfe. The Lighthouse. Holy shit. What? Holy shit. I didn't know Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson had that in them. Holy shit. Instructions not included. Wow. I I I understand that this movie definitely needed, at least for the audience I'm assuming the writers had in mind when making this movie, that they really wanted the audience to be able to easily distinct the protagonist as the good guy and the antagonist as the bad guy. I think they went a little too hard in the direction for the bad guy viewing the child that they were fighting for the custody of as an object. No doubt there are probably people who, in situations like that, that view this child that they're fighting custody for as nothing more than an object or a means to an end. I do think that continuing to perpetuate that kind of, I don't want to say stereotype, but it kind of is, that kind of stereotype can do genuine harm to like perception of custody battles like this. It's not usually as black and white as that. And I think it made the characters feel not as real as they should have. Mooch goes to Hollywood. If I hear if Mooch has to sit through another goddamn 7 interview process just to get ghost rejected from Taco Bell, she's going to do something drastic. This is a fun project, though. Objectively, not really good, but it's so... There is a certain amount of fun to be had going through Hollywood and the kind of world that is through the eyes and perception of a dog. I don't know. I think the concept's really fun. Fred the movie. It's bad, but it's good. Like I can't really word it differently from that. Like it's a bad movie, but it's also kind of good. I don't know what to say. I don't know what more to say about Fred the movie. Napoleon, oh my god. Joaquin Phoenix, you're a very talented actor. I love you. I love the way you perform your characters. I was not, however, ready for how many times I saw you bare-ass naked in this movie. I wasn't ready for it. Strawberry Mansion. God, what a strange film. What a peculiar piece of media, but you know what it feels like? It feels like a dream within a dream. It feels like when you're asleep and you're dreaming and you like sit down on the couch and you're watching a movie on the television, but you're dreaming the whole time. That's what this movie feels like to me. But like, it's while you have like a moderate case of the flu. Sinners, oh God, oh, there was a period of time in graduate school when a lot of really good movies were coming out that I wanted so badly to see in the theater, but I just could never muster the energy to do it. Sinners was one of them, and it is by far the one I regret not seeing in like the like super cool, awesome, badass format while it was in theaters. God. It's not... And I know this is big talk coming from me, a 25-year-old white man. But what a good... Like, I believe it in my heart, but it feels weird to come out of my mouth that this feels like such a good and heartfelt celebration of black art. And God, the way they like mess around with the aspect ratio, like somewhere through the film, just the juke joint scene as a whole. Oh my God. And the way they choose to portray the vampires. It's good. It's such a good movie. It's so good. Who the hell is texting me at this time of day? Okay. Airbud, Golden Retriever. It got. I just remembered about this movie. It's another fucking goddamn movie that has a supporting fat character that makes being fat there and liking food and eating food and drinking drinks and eating food and being messy and being gross and like burping and farting and going to the bathroom. Like that's their entire character. God, we are so much more than that. But yeah, these are my ideas for a cool drinking game you could play while watching this movie. It's simple, two rules. Every time Coach takes a bite out of a piece of food, you take a shot. If he mentions being hungry, finish your drink. Personally, I can't recommend playing this game because you might end up at the hospital, but it's an option. A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. There is a certain warmth that comes with a lot of these Charlie Brown specials, whether it be through the music, just the way the voice lines sound with the recording hardware that they used or the art style. It's so warm, it's so welcoming, and it's to a degree that I don't think we'll ever see again. Mouse Hunt. What a fun slapstick, like in 90 minutes to 2 hours this was. You're telling me that a lone mouse gave two grown ass men that much grief? To put it in Smash terms, I imagine this is what it felt like, what it feels like to fight a top level fox at your first melee event after becoming an Ice Climbers main. Okay, Luca. This, along with a lot of offerings from Disney and Pixar I've seen in the 2020s, I've seen got a lot of flack that I don't think is deserved. Like, so fucking what if this story even was objectively and directly about a queer platonic relationship rather than maybe not being that, but definitely being able to be read as such? Like, so fucking what if that was the case? If it was, like, the intention behind the authors were that it was trying to depict a queer platonic relationship. Like, it's probably not, but there's definitely room for that interpretation. And would really, if it was, would it really be so bad? Like, oh no, a story that might embody a little bit of the queer experience in a form factor friendly to all ages. What a fucking nightmare. Fucking grow up, dude. It is not that serious. God, if I may rant for a second, like I've done in this review, I have found that general audiences, or at least the parts of general audiences that are really vocal about movies like Luca, like movies that are intended for like family audiences or general audiences, they're too fucking weak for anything anymore. I could put 2 minutes of an amazing film that touches upon LGBTQ plus themes and experiences, like The People's Joker or I Saw the TV Glow, and they would fucking crumble into dust in shock. Like, we can't have always been like this. General audiences can't have always been this fucking weak. Similar boat for Turning Red. I think, and they were especially more vocal with Turning Red than they were with Luca. I think that the go woke, go broke mob is not only wrong, but fucking stupid. Sometimes a work of fiction is simply not made for you. This does not, however, mean that makes the work worthless and devoid of all meaning. The people that I saw and heard could not look past a handful of questionable moments, like I don't know, the female lead getting her period or using the panda form to get money to go to a concert. What they find questionable, but it's not. It's not questionable. Like, grow up. They missed out on a message of overcoming generational trauma and issues of self-worth. And I'll be honest, I think that they'll deserve the suffering that will result from not being able to internalize a message like that. Like the unbearable misery that comes when one day they wake up and realize that it's been years since their kids have thought about them and they are alone. Because I can perfectly imagine the kinds of people that were really vocal about, oh, this shouldn't be a movie for kids. I can perfectly picture them and how they don't have a good relationship with their kids. They don't value their kids as people. They don't care about what issues their kids may be facing. They only care about what their kid can achieve and how that will make them look good. Narcissistic parents who don't care about their kids. The upside. What? I really dig the dynamic that Kevin Hart and Bryan Cranston's character built up in this movie. And oh God, I wish I could have been there for those 14 hot dogs. Oh, those hot dogs sounded so good. Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Okay. I don't think it's quite as good as the first the first FNAF film, but I still think it was really funny. I still think it was a really fun film. And, Newman fucking ruins everything again. The big surprise. Like, I think this is my favorite movie where Newman has come in and ruined everything. I think this is the best he's got. That actor has gotten to playing that specific kind of character. The Godfather. I hate to be the Peter Griffin friend, but, objectively, it's good. I recognize the status that it has in the history of cinema. I just don't care that much for The Godfather. I'm glad I watched it. I don't especially feel inclined to see any of the sequels. I don't especially feel inclined to watch this movie ever again. And that is where I'll leave it. Waiting for Guffman. It kind of gives like secondhand embarrassment, like uncomfortable situational comedy, but if instead of following like a paper company, like The Office did, it follows a town in the rural Midwest, somewhere like a Missouri. It takes place in Missouri, doesn't it? I think it takes place in Missouri, where nothing really ever happens there. And finally, the potential of something might be happening gets them all really excited and really passionate around this one thing that's bringing this potential something that may happen. And you can tell that they have the heart for it, but they just don't have the talent to pull it off. But there's a certain beauty in that, I think. I don't know. I think the love that all these characters have for this town, it's palpable. And the heartbreak when you realize this one chance that they had, it doesn't pan out. It hits. It hits. 18x2 Beyond Youthful Days. Oh, God. I have found, especially in the last year, that there are a lot of movies that will simply that they won't just invoke an emotional reaction out of you. They will reach into your chest, latch on to whatever organs they can grab, and drag them out of your torso, and then leave you to clean up the mess afterwards. 18 by 2 Beyond Youthful Days is one of those movies for me. God, just the way the connection between these two characters is depicted, and the moment when you realize why the connection didn't go any further, it hurts. But it's like a good kind of hurt, you know? It's the kind of hurt that reminds you that you're alive instead of just makes you miserable. Ne Zha 2, there's nothing I could say about Ne Zha 2 that I haven't said about the original Ne Zha. It's tough. It's not perfect. It's tough. It's low-key kind of badass. I think it's worth a watch. I think both of them are worth a watch. They're good. What more do you want me to say? What more do you want me to say? Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I really hope it was the intention behind the production, the entire production, to make Willy Wonka feel like this really socially awkward, borderline inept individual, except when it comes to making candy, I guess. Because Tim Burton and Johnny Depp really sell that here. I like to separate the world that that's depicted in this movie with the world that's depicted in the Gene Wilder, and I think also the Timothy Chalamet Willy Wonka's, because I think those two are trying to depict the same world. I like my headcanon as the difference between those two being the Tim Burton one, that's the universe where Willy Wonka's mother died when he was a kid, and the other one is where his father died as a kid. And yes, I know Willy Wonka's mother is also dead in that world, but my headcanon is that his father died first. Aqua Teen Hunger Force : movie film for theaters. I expected a lot more about from this movie than I got. Like the way the plot devolves and just I'll be honest, I don't think this world or these characters work in a feature-length format. At least not the way they attempted to here. There's a certain point in the movie where shit gets too crazy and the characters become too insufferable, where you're dreading every next scene. That hit for me with this movie. The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. This one was a rewatch. I don't remember when I first saw it. But you know, this piece is a really interesting concept where it's not just one story that's being told, it's an anthology of shorter stories under like the same sort of umbrella. I really enjoyed the way they put that together here. I really enjoyed all the performances, the settings that were built, the pictures that were being painted by the cinematographers. My one gripe with this film is that I wish, instead of how they built it up, where they start with Buster Scruggs, I wish they had bisected his story. They had cut Buster Scruggs' story in half, starting the entire piece with the first half, and then having like a sort of connective tissue throughout the rest of the stories being told, being that Buster Scruggs is telling this story while he's riding to the last location where his story ends, and then have the film as a whole end with his demise. I think that would have sold this project a lot more. Deliverance. I don't know entirely what I was expecting going into this movie. That one sequence in the woods where the main characters are held by gunpoint. Wasn't expecting that. And it was very much an unwelcome surprise. I don't think I'll ever be watching this movie again, and I don't think I'll ever recommend anyone watch this movie. Objectively, like in how the movie's put together and some of the performances, it's fine, I guess. Oh my god, The Little Prince. I cried. What a beautiful tale. What a beautiful animation style. What a beautiful message to impart with the audience, especially for the time period in which it came out, and especially more so nowadays. This movie made me hope I make a wonderful grown-up, and I think it will for you too. A Man Called Otto. They came out swinging with Otto as a character a lot earlier in this movie than I expected. And they probably were a little too graphic with it. But I think by not going that hard, it would make the emotional impact of where his character ends up at the end of the movie. I don't think that emotional impact would have hit as hard otherwise. La La Land. I don't love this movie because it's a love story. I don't love it because of the connection that it depicts between the two lead characters. I love it because of what it has to say about art, how art calls to you, and what it may take to pursue it. Here's to the ones who dream. I hope we can all join their numbers someday. Perks of Being a Wallflower. This one is another rewatch. I think I first watched it on a plane going somewhere. I don't remember where I was going, but clearly enough to fit in a good chunk of this movie. I didn't understand it first time I saw it. What happened to Charlie in his past that they convey in the climax of the movie. First time I watched it, went over my head. This time around, it didn't. And while I think this movie does have a lot of faults, well, not a lot of faults, it does have faults. I know there's at least one actor in this movie who has since proven quite problematic, but I don't know, the pieces of the human condition that the crew are, the writers and the actors and the production staff were trying to convey with this piece, I think they were important pieces of the human condition to show. And I feel like they were handled with a good amount of reverence that they deserved. I think this movie's worth at least a watch. The Big Lebowski. God. The dude. What a journey this guy had to go through. God. This movie's nuts. This movie's fucking nuts. And I think it was the perfect decision to have crazy shit like this happen around a character who's trying so damn hard to just be a laid-back, regular dude like the dude. I think having those two things meshed together makes this movie work so well. Frozen. Girl, whatever. I don't care. I don't care. Like, it was so big. It was a cultural phenomenon when it came out. And revisiting it after the fact in the big 25, it made me feel kind of nuts for buying into the hype when it first dropped. The Lego Ninjago movie. It doesn't hit quite the same or quite as hard as the Lego Batman movie did, but you know, there's some sauce here. There's a lot that this movie does that a lot of other Lego movies don't do, while still retaining that same sort of, not magic, I want to say, but that same sort of charm. It's a difficult thing to describe. I think it's something you can only know after watching the Lego movie and the Lego Batman movie and the Lego Ninjago movie. Verdict is still out on the Lego movie Part 2. I haven't seen it yet. I can't imagine they fuck up that charm to the point where it wouldn't be worth including that film in those three in building that charm. And then lastly, we have The Nightmare Before Christmas. There is a certain vibe and charm built up with this film. With the music, the art style, the character design, the way the story goes, the dynamic between Jack and Sally. It pulls all of this together in one cohesive tone and experience. And I mean this in a really, really good way, where I can perfectly picture the kind of person that really, really likes this movie. I'm not quite one of these people. I'm glad I saw it. I personally have a little beef with how they've handled Sally's character. She feels to me like, as a character, all she does is serve to further Jack Skellington and to like be an object for him to pursue. And like all she does is for Jack, when I feel like she could have been a lot more than that. But that's neither here nor there. I think it's a classic. I think it's a really good film. I think everyone should see it at least once, especially during Christmas. I think the fact that we have this as a movie that we can pull as something to put on during Christmas time to just sort of build a kind of sense, either for an individual or for a group of people around that holiday, something as different from the rest as this, I think it's really valuable to have this in our popular culture. That's everything. That's every movie I saw in 2025. I'm not sure if I'll do, you know what, I probably will do. I'll definitely do this again with the movies that I see this year. Not sure if I'll split it up across like the first half of the year and the second half, or if I'll just do it at the end of the year, everything that I saw. We'll see if I can make anything out of this at all. But yeah, that's all I've got today. I enjoyed myself. I hope you enjoyed yourself, at least through the frames that weren't dropped and through the connectivity issues. I'm going to be putting this up on the main YouTube channel very shortly. I'm not sure if I'll stream on Tuesday. I might not. But if nothing else, I will see you all again next week, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Chapter 5 is coming to town. And I am ready for it. I hope you are too. So that's all I've got. Thank you all so much for tuning in. YouTube channel, same as here on Twitch, Dare Hair Sturm. I'm a lot more active over there. I've got a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline there. A lot of stuff that has been shipped since the last time I appeared here. I guess until we meet again. Bye-bye.